Alright, here is a ready-made method for you to calculate periodic payments on a loan, or how much interest you're gonna get on an investment. This method is called the Financial.Pmt, or financial payment method. Basically, it's a line of code where you have three arguments: the interest rate per period. Um, Generally, by default, it's a yearly interest rate, a number of total payment periods, or the total number of terms for the period, uh, by default yearly. And then you have your present value of your loan, or otherwise your loan amount or your investment. So returns the periodic payment as a double type value, depending on if you want to see the yearly or the monthly payment. You put in the rate and the number of terms. So if you have two examples here. um, Example one is for calculating the payment for or the annual payment for a loan of 9,000 for 3 years at an interest rate of 5%. So that's why your rate is 0.05 for 5%. NPER, which is your number of terms, is 3 years, and your principal value is 9,000. That's the initial loan amount you took. So it returns an annual payment of um, 3,304 based on whatever data you had provided. The second one is for calculating monthly payment for a loan of 12,000 for 5 years at 6% interest. See here, as argument, since you're trying to calculate the monthly payment, you're dividing your interest rate by 12, and your NPER, or total number of payments per period, is 5 for 5 years, and you have to multiply that by 12 because you're trying to find out your monthly payment, and that gives you your um, interest rate, which is or your monthly payment, which is 231. So another thing here is, by default, it um, takes the value as a loan and gives you a negative number, because that's what you have to pay back. If you want to see some investments, or you know if you want to see positive values for payments, you have to have minus in front of that to get a positive value, which we'll see here. So this is a calculator where after you input your principal value and choose the number of terms, it gives you your monthly payments for different interest rates from 5 to 10%. The code for that is given on the left. So first you have a list box, which has a few options for the number of terms from 2 to 5, and the for next statement for that is given for term as integer 2 to 5, and then add the terms to the list box. And then by default, the number 4 is the selected term. You can change it to whatever you want to, uh, between 2 to 5. And then you have the lines of code or set of instructions for the calculate button, which after you enter a principal amount and you choose the number of terms, gives you the monthly payments for different interest rates. So at first you define three different variables: the number of terms, uh, the number of term, the principal amount, and the monthly payment. The number of term is extracted from the selected number of term in the list box. The principal amount is extracted from the amount entered in the text box beside the principal, and they are converted into the the principal amount is converted from the string to a double type and is assigned to the principal variable. The selected item in the list box is converted to a double and assigned to the variable term. And then initially the payments label is cleared, and then using the for next loop we basically display the different monthly payments. So the rate is incremented from 0.05 to zero point 0.1 with a step of 0.01, meaning that from 5% to 10% with the increment of 1%. And then the monthly payment is calculated as minus, because I want to see positive values instead of negative. So Financial.Pmt in brackets rate divided by 12 because it's monthly, term times 12 it's because it's monthly not yearly. So I mean it was whatever year, number of years times 12 for the number of months, and then you have the principal which was entered by the user. So that gives you the monthly payment for the selected number of terms for the current rate. It can be 5 to 10%. So it starts with a 5% annual payment rate, divides that by 12, and then multiplies your term with 12, and then uses the principal value. And then it outputs the text in the label. And the code for that is given after that in the second line. So payments label dot text is equals to whatever it was already, then add to that the rate, which is going to be looped, and then beside rate is there's going to be that arrow sign, and then is the monthly payment is displayed in a currency format with 2 decimal points. And then the control cars.new line basically mimics an enter, so that the next display of text is done in the new line. And finally the text box is this thing in focus. So the initially the the text box will have the cursor on it so that the user can enter something there. So that's your code for having this simple application which will give you your monthly payment for your principal amount with the selected number of terms for different interest rates.